I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me, maybe this slavery draining my energy.
As a young black man, I feel that I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And by the name of Squanto. Squanto observed the Pilgrims for a while. He showed them how to fish, grow corn, how to survive the winters. They made a treaty. After that, you had Puritans that started to come to America, the New World. And within days, these Puritans were stealing Native Indian food and robbing Native Indian graves. And because there was a treaty in place, tensions rose between the Native Indians and the settlers until it got to a point where it became war between the settlers and the Native Indians over the land. The settlers got together. They surrounded the longhouses during nighttime, told everyone to come out, and the men that came out, they either shot them or they clubbed them to death. The women and children that were huddled together, scared to come out, they just set on fire. The next day, the governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony declared a day of Thanksgiving. Let's clap it up. Hey, shalom, Israel, shalom. We got the audios hooked up? Most High Christ. Hey, shalom, Israel. This is Priest and Officer at the Wagga Bar. I got the Trooper Jeremiah up in here. I got Officer Abadia Allah up in here, man. You already know what we're gonna go into. Few things I'm gonna go into before we get into Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, it is the oppressor's holiday that the Most High despises. He hates Thanksgiving. He hates all of the holidays that you celebrate in your ignorance. Okay, in your ignorance. If you could, there's two videos I want to go over. Right now, there's a trend. I went over this on Black Authentic Truth. I went over this. The trend is the quarter zip trend. You heard about that trend? About y'all? Yeah, everybody's trying to do that trend. I said, I think I might do a quarter zip skit, right? In this trend, people are wearing the quarter zip, cardigan sweaters that zip down to about right here. And it's to say, listen, we on something new. We're on something positive. We're not wearing hoodies and Nike Tech sweaters anymore. We're gonna have our macchiato. what they always have, a Starbucks drink. What is it? A matcha. That's what they saying. A matcha. The quarter zip, the slacks. You know what I mean? The pointy tip shoes, and you know what I mean? Just a whole nother different you. We're not doing that no more. Well, it's a trend is taking over. I even seen some Issacharites doing it. Everybody is getting in on this quarter zip trend, kind of like the Carlton type of swag, right? Like the preppy swag, and it's a beautiful thing because it's positive, right? Right. But one thing we have to remember is that it is not about what you wear and how you dress. It's about your conduct. It's about how you live. It's about the decisions you make, and how we live and the decisions we make. The righteous decisions we make are solely based on what God says. Like if you leave it up to you just trying to be a good person, you're going to fail in some things, right? And you're going to be fine. You might find yourself doing some things that not you might, but you will find yourself doing some things that are totally against God, right? But in our heritage and who we are as a people, I thought it would be a beautiful thing if we could get back and have a challenge to who we are as a people and start dressing like that. You know what I mean? Start wearing things that our ancestors would have wore. You find black people that are afraid, that are not afraid, but they are, you have people, I'm not just saying black people, you have people that have something against wearing jewelry. They look down on black people. They like, look, look at that big old chain he got on. Why you got all that gold on? You actually have people like that. You know, if you could, could you turn the air on?
Okay.
It was freezing in here though. You have some people that will look at us and say, well, why you have jewelry on? Why you have, as a man, why are you wearing earrings? Because my ancestors wore earrings. Why do you have, as a woman, why do you have a nose ring? Or why do you have a gold anklet? And why you got to be, that's just in our heritage. And a lot of times you see black and Hispanic people, we wear gold, we wear jewelry, and we don't even know that thing goes back to our ancestors. That was a culture of our ancestors. Right. And we do it without even knowing it. The same way that we're God's chosen people, we're more spiritual than everybody. Right. We don't know we're God's chosen people, but if you want to, have a put it on a scale from 1 to 10, who's the most spiritual people, without a doubt, it's black and brown people.
That's right.
The most spiritual people that look to God in everything, even though we be off, even though we might be worshiping, the Santa, what is it? What is it? Guadalupe?
Virgen de Guadalupe.
Virgen Guadalupe. Worshiping the Virgin Mary, Guadalupe or the Virgin Mary, are worshiping white Jesus. Even though we might be off, we're still more spiritual, and we still look to the Lord. We look to a higher power, right, because we don't really know this, but we are God's chosen people.
Right.
Same way with that, and so if we could get back and have a trend, a viral trend, where you start to see black people really say, what were we before we came here to America? Who were we? And what were the customs of these people, of our people? Go ahead, Ibot.
So like, if I may, I remember one time you had brought out a point saying that's why you'll find black people in every religion, because we so spiritual, we so soul searching, we trying to find who we are. Like, you brought that out a while ago, and it's just so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. I'm saying we in every religion, Buddhism, Muslim, Christianity, because it's like we everywhere. So
we everywhere. That's so true. Like, we in every religion. Black and brown people do, like, you really don't see everybody in every religion.
Right.
Just say like the people that's the monks. I don't know what nationality they are, what race they are, though. They're typically monks wearing like the burnt oranges, right, robes, sitting Indian style, meditating. You don't never see them in no Christian church.
Right.
You're not going to walk into a Christian church and see a Hindu person. You get what I'm saying? They stick to what is the religion of their ancestors. Now, yes, you have multicultural, Americanized churches where you have, everybody is welcome, but the vast majority of churches are segregated. The vast majority of church, that lets you know something about Christianity, that even in a religion that says that all men are the same and equal under God and they're brothers under God, you still have segregation.
Right.
Ain't that something? You still have an all-white church and you have an all-black church. You know what I mean? And it's very rare that a white pastor is going to come and preach to a black congregation and vice versa. Ain't no Negro going to get invited to preach over Joel Osteen's church.
Right.
That's just not happening. Go ahead, Ahmad.
It's like, it's the same thing with America. They say we one nation under God, but they divided into political parties.
Exactly. A divided house can't stand.
Right.
You know what I mean? But and so this quarter zip trend, let me play the video. I'm gonna play a video real quick so y'all can get what I mean. And then if you could get me Isaiah 52:1. Okay. That.
We don't do Nike tag. We don't do coffee. There's straight quarter zips and marches around here. He was talking about putting on a Nike tag to come outside. I told him, what are you doing? You upgraded in life. You wear glasses.
He said, you upgraded in life. You was finna put on a Nike tech. What are you doing? We got the moccas, the quarter zips, and the ties. And this is the thing. Like, don't fall into the trap. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with this trend because it's not ignorant as hell, like a lot of trends are. It's not going to get you unalived. Or you remember that thing they had that was going viral, where people were walking on the crates, the crate challenge. People really died from that.
Right.
People really, like, we live in a world full of followers. Social media is a world that promotes following. It promotes you following and trying to emulate what you are following and, get attention yourself. So this is not one of those ignorant, silly, viral trends that could get you hurt. This actually is a harmless trend, to be honest with you. Listen, I don't have anything against it. It's harmless, but you do have people that think in their mind, and this is not new, but you do have people that say, you know what? Maybe if Trayvon Martin wasn't wearing a hoodie and he was wearing a quarter zip, George Zimmerman wouldn't unalived him. You have people that think that, the way you dress determines how you're going to, get treated in this world. And I don't want to go into the nuances. And I'm not saying like, if you got a wife beater on and you go into an interview, of course you're not going to get the job. That's not what I'm saying. But we lean a lot on white supremacy as far as, what we should do in order to get treated better. What you should do is keep the law, statutes, and commandments and, work on your conduct and how you carry yourself. And that will get you a lot farther, right? Because we know that anybody could treat anybody wrong. You got men that wear 3-piece suits that rob and rip your pockets off your pants every day in church. Right. That will sleep with your wife, that will molest your children. Right. And they got a 3-piece Italian suit, expensive suit on. You know what I mean? The hell with a quarter zip. They're wearing an expensive, suit made in Italy. But they are still, they'll still do heinous things and evil things. You know what I mean? You got men that wear suits, and you had a man, Ronald Reagan, that wore a suit that decided to put drugs into the Black and Hispanic communities. The devil wears a suit and a tie. The devil can have on a suit and a tie, or he can have on a hoodie. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is how you conduct yourself and what do you govern yourself off of, right? But I thought about this trend, and this is what we need to get back to: the young men, the middle-aged men, the elderly men. We need to ask the question: what is our heritage? Right. Go ahead and read that.
So like Isaiah 58 or
52 and 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Wake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion.
Put on, awake. Now we're very what is it? What is the word? Influential as a people, but we are asleep. Black and Hispanic people, you are very influential. This trend is the testimony to that. How everybody is hopping on it and it's going viral, and people are literally going to buy quarter zips to do a skit. So because we want to do a skit, somebody is going to make a lot of money. And I guarantee you, it ain't going to be black and brown people.
Right.
But we have a influence that no one else has. Even though we are asleep, even though we don't know who we are, even though we are ignorant to our history, ignorant to our culture, that tomorrow you will go and eat a plate of food on Thanksgiving, not understanding that you are pledging your allegiance to the genocide of the North American Indians.
Right.
It's time for us to awake so that we could see what we're supposed to be doing and not just, be viral every now and then and still get treated the same way by the United States government. And still our families and our children are in the streets acting a damn fool because we are asleep and we don't know who we are. Right. Keep reading.
Come on. Awake, put on thy strength, O Zion.
Put on your strength. We are weak right now. We don't have any strength. We got a lot of influence. We go viral, but we don't have any strength. We got a lot of people that emulate us and like our coolness, and they like the way we dress, and they like the way our women look, and the style that we have, and the way that we talk. But we are weak. They like the way that we are spiritual, but we are weak. We don't have any strength. Keep going.
Come on, God. Put on thy beautiful garments.
Put on thy what?
Put on thy beautiful garments.
Put on thy beautiful garments. We're supposed to be wearing beautiful garments, beautiful dresses, goodly apparel, according to the Bible. You know what happens when we put on our beautiful garments in the truth and we go out into the streets? Black people look at us like something is wrong with us. Like we're cosplaying, or like we don't know how we look. We do know how we look.
Right.
We found out how our ancestors looked. And we said, I'm going to make that go viral. I'm going to make fringes go viral. I'm going to make this a trend to put fringes on my clothing. I'm going to make this a trend, you know, to wear a mitri, to wear a war scarf, to wear a crown upon my head. You know what I mean? Sisters, make it a trend to wear a head wrap. You know, I was looking on one of those YouTube pages on how to do a head wrap for women, and I didn't know it's like 30, 40 different ways you can take one piece of fabric and wrap it on your head to make it look, you know, all type of different ways. I was so surprised by that. I didn't know that it was that versatile. But if you had, as a woman, you had the skills and you've seen that, you know what I'm talking about. There's so many ways you can wear a head wrap. It's so many ways you can adorn your head with different, you know, decorations and things of that nature. So many ways you could, you could dress that are not quote unquote European and still be beautiful, still be gorgeous. As a man, still look sharp, clean, fresh. You know how many compliments we get when we, like, people do look at it and they say things like, you know, online, they say, y'all dress like Power Rangers, y'all dress like this, y'all dress like that. But this is our heritage.
Right.
I have more pride wearing what I'm wearing than a sports jacket and a fitted cap that some white man that designed. Most of the clothes you see brothers in I.S.U.P.K wear, we done made them ourselves, or our sisters done made them. Right. That's another element. You got brothers and sisters that are making their own clothes. Where do you find that at? So we need to get back to that. How did we dress? Let's make that viral. How did our ancestors dress? What was the the code of conduct? How did they behave? What made them the way they were? What made them honorable and dignified and righteous? Let's make something like that go viral. That's right. Once again, I'm off of it, but you know, like I said, I don't have anything against the quarter zip trend. It's harmless, right? Except the fact that a lot of money is going to go into people who are not blacks' hands, and it's not going to go into the black community. Right. But it's harmless. It's not like the crate challenge or some silly challenge where you could lose your life or seriously hurt yourself. Go ahead, Abad.
So like, if I may, just to prove your point, remember we was in Vaughn's over there in Gardena, the Edomite lady at the cash register. She to say, I like your did the little hand gesture pointing at our fringes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we was in Vaughn's. We was in Vaughn's in what? Glendale, city of Glendale. We walked inside Vaughn's just to see what was inside the supermarket, see what we can grab while we was waiting. And you could tell that like everybody was shell-shocked at looking at us. But the cashier and the bagger lady in particular, she was really looking, you know what I mean? And then when we got to the register, she said, I like what, you guys' outfits. You know, they don't understand it, but it's different and it looks cool to them. It really doesn't matter when it comes to us. Like, we make everything look good. Right. And if you start to dress the way your ancestors dress, you're going to still look good. You don't have that misconception in your mind that you got to have on a fitted cap and you got to have on, you got to have some name brand on all the time. And that's why we're brainwashing this place to think that we got to, you know, label ourselves. And when it comes to that labeling, that's crazy, because when you really think about it, how they used to brand the slaves, and now all of the name brand clothing, especially that designer clothing, that expensive clothing that black people like to get in the purses and all that, those are name brands of Edomites, of white people. That we get this name brand and then we look down on somebody else because, hey, you can't get it. I got it, but you can't afford this. And really we're just, you know, going broke, giving them our money for something that is cheaply made in Japan or China. But anyway, what else? There's another video I wanted to go over before we get into the topic. This video I wanted to go over. Went over this also. And I went over this also on Black Authentic Truth. If you could, let's get Leviticus 19 and 29, please. Papa Shah. So this video is one of those street videos. You see how it is that AC is really that it's like it's getting cold in here, but when you turn it off, the coolness is not retaining in here. It's going somewhere because it immediately get warm again. We got to figure out what that is. Yeah, but this video is this is one of those street interview videos, and so I'm just gonna play it. Let me just play it.
Would you give it up after the first date?
Absolutely.
You would?
Yeah, who got time to waste?
Okay.
I got to see what I'm working with. I feel like when people talk about like, oh, I'm not going to have sex on the first day. Okay, you don't have to have sex on the first day, but I'm not going to wait no 30 days or 3 months or 6 months, because at that time I'm wasting my time. Right. What if we're not sexually like compatible? Then
that's true.
You're wasting our time. So, are you going to give it up on the first date?
I feel like it's the vibe. If it's the vibe and I'm feeling it, yeah, it has to be a whole vibe. If it's not there.
But nowadays, normally before the first date, you talk.
Right.
So she was asked, and in the title on the video, it says he asked 150 women this night. Only 3 said no. Only 3 said no, right? And this video is indicative of what you typically see in the attitude. She said, I'm not going to wait. He said, well, first of all, he asked, would you give it up on the first night? She said, yes. I got to see what you're working with. And I don't see the point in waiting 1, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. And the other girl said, yeah, too, it depends and all of that. And this is the state of the Black community. Whereas we learn in the I.S.U.P.K the 1-year rule, right? You want to get to know a person. This is something that will protect you from hardship, from getting pregnant, from being dumb and having an abortion, from being creating a broken family. Because you chose a woman that was a monster, or you chose a man that he was a monster, whatever the case may be. Now, if you could, Ibad, could you read that for me?
Come on, Khan. 19 and 23.
Khan, the sister said, she sounds how she's dressed. She literally does sound how she's dressed. And, you know, to speak to that point, how this sister is dressed, in today's world, in the Black world, people see no problem with this. To me, this attire is porn star attire. How I came up, right? I'll just put it that way. I'm looking at a woman, and when I see women like this that's dressed provocatively, like there's certain areas you can go. You can go on Holt and Pomona. You know, you could go, on the stroll in LA, You can go right down here, G Street by the bus station. There's certain areas where women are prostituting and they're dressed exactly like this. They're dressed there is no difference. You can't tell a difference today in today's time between what a good woman is or what a prostitute is or what a 304 is. When we were coming up, everybody knew who the 304 was. Everybody knew who was the promiscuous woman in the community. Now the dress code has changed where many women are dressing the same way provocatively. I'll give it to like how they dress on those Love and Hip Hop type shows. That's typically when a woman gets dressed up, she has to show, her front butt, which is a ton of cleavage, and she has to let you know that she has a nice body. So she has to wear the skimpiest and tightest clothing that she can find. We already know that women have bodies. Men already know that you can see. Men can already see what you got, what you're working with. You don't have to wear nothing tight. You could wear, a pair of jeans. You could wear, a wool rug around your body, and men will still know that you have something there. You get what I'm saying? It defeats the purpose. You know what I mean? Also, men approach women differently based on how they're dressed.
Right.
This woman will get a different interaction with a man versus a woman that is dressed more modest and classy. She will get a man that will come more correct and with more respect.
Right.
All right. Let's get that.
Leviticus 19 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
And whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid betrothed to an husband. And
wait. I'm Salaki. Leviticus 19 and 29.
Oh, Salaki.
The
book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 29.
Uh-huh.
Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness.
So this is one of the things that we teach in this school is what the Bible says. You don't want to raise your daughters to be promiscuous, to be fast, to be, to dress provocatively. I see a lot of that happen. I see a lot of women I see a lot of women and men that don't understand what they are doing to their daughters by dressing them like little women provocatively, showing the bare midriff. You know what the bare midriff is? I never knew what bare midriff was in school, right? And we used to, you used to have a dress code, and it would tell you what boys can wear and little girls can wear. I'm talking about this is in, elementary or maybe middle school, right? Bare midriff is showing the stomach area. So wearing one of them short shirts and your belly is out. I've seen this before with little girls, with parents. You don't want to prostitute your daughter, have her dressing like a little woman. That's what you are doing. That's what the Bible calls prostituting your daughter. That she grow up and be super fast, super loose, and a little 304. A lot of y'all are trained, have y'all daughters in training right as we speak, and you're just destroying her. The same is with a son. You don't want to, have a son that is you raising him to be a little wild brawler, and all you teaching him is negative things: how to fight, how to steal, how to lie, how to cheat your way out through life. So this is what this precept is getting to. But I really want to get the last part. Read it again.
Come on. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 29.
Do
not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness.
Lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness, because it's a cycle. You raise a daughter to be a whore. You raise a daughter to be a 304. You raise a daughter that is a promiscuous woman. Some of y'all will raise a daughter, and when she get of age, you will tell her things like, that boy, you interested in that boy, he ain't the only one you gonna be with. Some of you mothers that you're a coach and train your daughter to go through multiple men, to have the attitude that they don't have to agree with no man because there'll be more after him. Read that from the top again.
Come on, Khan. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Do not prostitute thy daughter, to cause her to be a whore.
To cause her to be a whore,
lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness.
And the land become full of wickedness, because this is a cycle. So you train up a child in that way, your daughter in that way, and she is a promiscuous woman with multiple partners. And she is a woman like this woman in this video that says, I'll give it up on the first date because I don't want to wait 3 months, 6 months. And she gives it up and she gets pregnant. Now she's pregnant because she gave it up on the first date with some dude that only saw her for what she looks like. Like, I can have sex with her tonight. He don't know her. She don't know him. All she knows is he got a nice car, big rims, and a good job. All he knows is that she has big breasts hanging out of her clothing, and she has a big butt, and she looks like I can have sex with her on the first night. And she just said, hey, I'll give it up on the first night. But guess what came with that first night? She gets pregnant. And now she's at odds with him. He don't want to take the responsibility because he didn't plan to get pregnant, for her to get pregnant. She's on his head because he's not around and he's not being the boyfriend or the man that she thought he would be, but she only knew him for one night. So now she's a single mother raising a child that doesn't have a stable family that they're coming up in. And now this little girl is prone to be the same way her mother was. Right. And so if she has a boy, the father is not there. Now this boy is growing up in an unstable home. He doesn't have no oversight. He gets to a certain age where she can't do nothing with him. The father needs to be there. He's running the streets, running with thugs and running with different hoods and stuff and doing all kind of stuff. And then he gets in trouble, or he kills someone, or he gets unalive. And that's the cycle of being a whore. That's how the land gets filled with wickedness. A woman being a 304 and a man being a whoremonger, a woman being a whore and a man being a whoremonger, right, could only produce a broken family. Right. Now, if you do it the right way and say, okay, I'm gonna wait 3 months before I have sex with this man. I'm gonna wait a whole year before I'm not 6 months to a year before I even want to go there with this man. So I know for sure who he is, what he's about, and his morals. Vice versa, the man. I know for sure that her morals, I know how she handles herself. I know what she's, capable of. I can see myself spending the rest of my life with this woman. I can see me spending the rest of my life with this man. Now you have a 2-parent household that is workable. You see, if we did it the way the Bible says to do it, there will be no single parent homes. Right. There will be no abortions. Like, if we really did it how the Most High said to do it, abortions would drop overnight. Single parent households would drop overnight. Father absence would drop overnight. And it's been proven, not just with the Bible, but with statistics, that children fare better when they have both parents in the house. Right. Well, I don't know why we can't see that. Well, why we don't get it. All right. You got anything on that I bought? All right. We can drop that.
Like, if I may.
Uh-huh.
And it also, seeing a boy grow up with a single mother teaches him that he can now go and do that with the woman.
Exactly. Thank you.
Now be an absent father.
Thank you, Abba. That was a good point. That's a good point. In addition to what I said, right? Now, excuse me. Let's talk about the Native American Indians. All right. I'm gonna play a video.
Thanksgiving, America. I'm Donna, and I'm here with my friends to tell you the real history behind this holiday. Growing up, I knew that what they told you in school about Thanksgiving wasn't true. That's not the true story. The true story behind Thanksgiving was, after every killing of a whole village, these European settlers celebrated it, and they called it Thanksgiving. But it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln became president that it became an official holiday.
He ordered 38 Dakota men to be hung for war crimes after the sacred holiday Christmas.
We take this time to remember our elders who lost their lives due to what really happened. Usually my mom makes a Native American dish for us and we pray.
Growing up, I would be kind of annoyed that they didn't know what actually happened on Thanksgiving and that they're actually celebrating the deaths of many people and many tribes that were lost.
Whether it's to give thanks or to be with your family, you should learn how the holiday was established in the first place.
I'm thankful for being born indigenous to this continent.
I'm thankful that I still have my culture.
I'm thankful that my elders kept our culture alive all these years.
I'm thankful to be indigenous, resilient, and alive.
I'm thankful for us all to be able to stand together, stand strong, and stand as one.
Happy Thanksgiving, America.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That was a good little history with those Native Indian sisters. And, you know, I played the video earlier with how the first Thanksgivings came to be. And the first Thanksgivings came to be where you had Quakers, you had settlers that came and they met with Native Indians. And over time, they started to just want to take more and gobble up more land. Of course, it's always about the land. And it came to a head with the Pequot Indians, where the settlers decided to kill them. And it was 700 men, women, and children. They, shot them in or clubbed them to death. And the women and children, they burnt inside of the longhouses. Native Indians had these long houses, kind of like how a barn is made. And they set it on fire and killed the women. And so the next day, women and children. So the next day they declared a day of Thanksgiving. But like the sister said in this video, every time they would kill Native Indians after that, they would celebrate Thanksgiving. So they went on a rampage and massacring Indians and giving thanks. And it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln said, you know what, let's just stop all of this and just let's make it official and make one day a day of Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is literally based on blood, literally based on genocide, literally based on terrorism. There is no way that you could say when you sit down and eat a plate of food that it means anything else but what it actually meant.
Right.
And God is not pleased.
Right.
If you could, find me an article or like a little brief story on manifest destiny. Now, as the white man made his westward expansion, he felt that it was his God-given right to take and gobble up more land. It was called manifest destiny. Let me
I got some.
Let me hear it.
This is Manifest Destiny from Britannica.com. It's like it. Manifest Destiny in U.S. history, the supposed inevitability of the continued territorial expansion of the boundaries of the United States westward to the Pacific and beyond.
They felt that it was inevitable that they were going to expand. Here's an image of manifest destiny that I made. Now, typically, the image of manifest destiny, it is a white woman flowing in the sky, going westward. But this is really what it was. It was like a death angel, like a plague of settlers coming from Europe, taking more and more land.
Right.
Go ahead.
Before the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, the idea of manifest destiny was used to validate continental acquisitions in the Oregon country, Texas, New Mexico, California, and the purchase of Alaska after the Civil War. Briefly revived the concept of manifest destiny, but it most evidently became a renewed force in U.S. foreign policy in the 1890s, when the country went to war with Spain, annexed Hawaii, and laid plans for Isthmian Canal across Central America. So like, yeah, you want to find something like
I think you could let me see.
We got like a definition of it.
Yeah, if you could.
Kind of. Manifest destiny, the philosophy describing the necessary expansion of the nation westward, was called manifest destiny. The belief that it was our duty to settle the continent, conquer.
They believed it was their duty. Go, keep going.
It was our duty to settle the continent, conquer, and prosper. The idealized depiction of the settlers who have reached the promised land of the West is depicted in Emmanuel Lutet's mural study Westward. In the course of empire takes its way. The settlers have overcome hazardous terrain and death in order to reach the American West.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let's see. Is this the video? Okay, all right, let's see if I can pull this up. I'm gonna share. Now, this is to give you an idea. Let me see. All right.
It's like, I got something like the Civil War and Native American Wars.
This is too low. I can't use it because it's too low. The audio is too low on this video. If you could say, what were you saying about?
So like I found the impact of manifest destiny, the Civil War and Native American Wars.
Okay, let me hear it.
By the time the Oregon question was settled, the United States had entered into an all-out war with Mexico, driven by the spirit of manifest destiny and territorial expansion. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ended in Mexican-American War in 1848, added an additional 525,000 square miles of U.S. territory.
All right, you could drop that. Now, give me kill the Indian, save the man. Kill the Indian, save the man. Now, in Manifest Destiny, when the Europeans came, what they would do is try to make treaties with the North American Indians. And the North American indigenous Indians did not understand the idea of buying the land. You see, because it said, who sold it to you? How can you buy something that you don't own?
Right.
Like, who gave you the permission to, how can you own the land that we know that comes from the Great Spirit, the Most High? Like this, and this land, you know, we have a relationship with this land where we only take what we need and we don't destroy the land. One of the Indian chiefs, I can't remember his name, but I'm paraphrasing. He said that the white man comes and he destroys the land and then he moves on to other parts of the land. He fences off the land, even from his own children, right? And so Manifest Destiny and white settlers coming west, expanding westward, was like a virus. Like if you imagine what a virus does, you know what I mean? You imagine what a parasite does, is it just eats and eats and destroys, or like locusts, what locusts do. They, you know, eat the crops and then they move on to get the gobble up some more. And that has basically been the history of the colonizer, is to gobble up as much land as he possibly could. And within that, they started to declare that Native Indians were savages, that they didn't deserve the land, that they needed the help of white people in order to live right. You know what I mean? In order to survive, they needed white people to civilize them or just decimate them. Okay, you got something? All right, let me hear it.
It says, "Kill the Indian, save the man. Remembering the stories of Indian boarding schools. Carlisle, Pennsylvania, 6 rows of white tombstones, each belonging to a child who died while attending the Carlisle Indian Industrial School, stood firmly in the dewy Pennsylvania grass, bearing the names of children who lost their lives while being forced to assimilate to a new world."
So that was the this man. They talks. What's his name? Carlisle. He's the one that said we need to kill the Indian but save the man. So what they would do is try to Europeanize the Indians in these boarding schools. And let me show you this picture. This is an example of what they would do. You know what I mean? And you can just see what they did. They not only cut his hair, but when they redid the photograph, they lighten it up with the exposure. So he looked more white and more, what is it? More, what's the word? Not integrated, but assimilated, more assimilated into white European or white European American culture. Okay. You can drop that. So I'm going to now, let's get Deuteronomy. Give me Deuteronomy, what I want, where it talks about a nation from far. Deuteronomy 28:48, somewhere around there. We can literally go through all the curses when you want to talk about what applies to Native American Indians, what applies to Black people. We can literally do that, right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and of want of all things.
And so wait.
It gets into it.
We get into the ego and all that.
Okay.
So this is something that we all know. When this applies to every Israelite that have been conquered and destroyed by European Edomites, right? That now, before you was good, but now you have to depend on them and want of all things. There is no Israelites, Judites, what is it, Simeonites, none of et cetera. There is no one that has a water company, electric company, land, enough land to produce textiles and building equipment, enough land to produce food and vegetables and produce for a nation. We have to go to another people for those things. And this is what this precept is talking about. Read it from the top again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48.
Uh-huh.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
And so, and keep going, and in want.
And in want of all things.
In want of all things. Everything we need, we absolutely have to go to another people in order to get it. I don't care how rich a Black person is, how rich a Native Indian person is, how rich a Mexican person is. You have to go to another people, your oppressor, in order to get those things. Okay. But what happened in history is what they did was, as they started to have battles with the Indians, the Native Indians, and they would subjugate them, a lot of times they would try to talk them down and say, well, let's not fight. The white man would say, let's not fight. What you can do is, like, we'll give you food. You can come to the agency. They had the agency where they will build these forts where they stacked food and clothes and shelter. And while they're out killing all the buffalo and the natural food source of the Native Indians, they'll say, come to the agency. You don't have to worry about that. So a lot of Native Indians went to the agency. A lot of them surrendered and would go to the agency and live amongst white people. And then they would be turned into foot soldiers for the United States Cavalry to go out and fight more Indians. And so many Indians were just neutralized because with the white man in his wicked design, he said, you know what, we're going to kill off the food source. We're going to kill off the buffalo. And let me just show you. There's a picture online. Let me see. He would kill off their main food source so that they would be starving. You got to imagine they killing off all the buffalo, just shooting them and killing them while you are engaged in guerrilla warfare with them. And this is your food source. And so this is a tactic that they used. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this. Can't get it. I think I got one. Oh, here we go. So this is what they would do. They would kill off the food source. Now, this is a mound of buffalo skulls. You see the white man is standing on the top of the mound. We're talking about tens of thousands of buffalo that they was killing in order to starve the Native Indians. Okay. And so after killing off the food source, that was a tactic to conquer the Native Indians and say, you know what, you might as well just surrender. You could come to the agency, you can come to the reservation. We got rations, we got blankets, you know what I mean? And that's what they did. Is go ahead, Abad.
It's like, if I may, this is just the equivalent to what they just did to, you know what I'm saying, the food stamps, cut the food stamps off.
Go ahead, explain.
I'm saying, like, they cutting off the food source, making them worried. You know what I'm saying? Oh, how we gonna feed our kids? Now we gotta bow down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we have to surrender.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't got nowhere to feed our kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Was that what did, were you holding anything?
Come on,
oh yeah, let's go. Let's keep going.
Come on. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
So the Lord brought a nation. He brought these European criminals and these so-called people of God, Quakers and pilgrims, and they came from afar. They came over the water as swift as the eagle flieth. Once they heard how good the land was, and once they heard how much, land was available on this new continent, they started coming over very, very frequently. And that caused a lot of tension because these settlers were stealing from the Native Indians. Right. They were stealing food and rations from the Native Indians. So it caused a lot of tension, right? It says, as swift as the eagle flieth, meaning this is the symbol of the white man, the eagle. You understand? This is the symbol of many European countries. They came from afar and they did not understand their tongue, right? You needed an interpreter. You needed an Indian interpreter like Squanto.
Right.
You needed Indian interpreters that, were well versed in different languages in order to be translators for the white man. Go ahead.
Come on, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
This was a nation of fierce countenance. They did not show, and this applies to God's chosen people, period, and how we have been treated by the European, by the colonizer. They didn't have any regard for the old or the young. in the story of Wounded Knee, the United States Cavalry opened fire on men, women, and children with Gatling guns. You know what Gatling guns are? They're the guns that spin and it shoots. It got about 6 or 7 barrels, and they crank it. It's sitting like on 2 wheels, kind of like a cannon. And they crank it, and it's turning and shooting out of each barrel, right? And they murdered everybody, right? They didn't show no regard for the elderly or for the young. During the Trail of Tears, a lot of elderly people died because it was a long trek, a long walk, you know. And even the children, we know what happened with Andrew Jackson, who's on your $20 bill, taking babies and bashing their heads against the trees. He was a notorious Indian hater. Andrew Jackson, the president that he became president, he's on your $20 bill.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is it any more? Let me hear it.
Come on. Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land.
He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land. Isn't that what I just showed you?
Okay.
They decimated the buffalo. The fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land. Right? The main, substance and source of the Native Indians. Because the Native Indians would take that buffalo and that would be meat. They take the horns and make things. They take the fur. Every part of the buffalo they would use, right? Nothing would get wasted. Okay. And on top of it, like from an Israelite standpoint, it was clean too. It was a clean meat, right. But they were not a greedy people.
Right.
They were not a greedy people that are hungry and full of lust and greed to take land and more land and have things that you can't even watch over, but just to have it. Like Captain Akkad was telling me that, like when he drove across and he got over here to the west, he said, it's so much land. Like it's no reason why anybody should be hungry. It's no reason why anybody should, not have nowhere to stay. It should not be no homelessness or people starving. But the white man is so greedy that he done took all of this land and he doesn't even have the manpower to subdue the land, to work and till the land. But because he can't till the land and have it, no one can. So he fences it off to everyone. Say, no trespassing. He can't possibly physically do anything with the land. He's already preoccupied with all of the cities and towns that he has. And he's complaining about the poor. He's complaining about the people on public assistance. He's complaining about people that need this and need that. He's complaining about, he tells the Mexicans and trying to deport them back to their country and telling black people, if you don't like here, go back to your country. There's enough land on this landmass for everybody to eat.
Right.
And for everyone to have substance. But because he's such a greedy bastard, if he can't have it and he doesn't have the manpower to do anything with it right now, then no one can. Right. Not even the poor, not even the less fortunate. Okay. Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed.
Until thou be destroyed. Go ahead.
Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or the flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
And that's what he did. He destroyed the land. He overused the land, meaning you're only supposed to till the land for like 7 years and then let it rest.
Right.
He doesn't do that. He literally decimates the land and sucks all of the resources, all of the nutrients out of the land, right? And then after destroying, rape, robbing, and murdering the North American Indians, he gives them reservations on land you can't even cultivate anything on. Until the scripture ended and said, until he have destroyed thee. And now when you look at our Native Indian brothers and sisters, they are destroyed.
Right.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but Native Indians have the highest poverty rate in America. It's higher than black people. Black people is number 2. Native Indians is number 1. They are a destroyed people.
Right.
Very high on the scale of being suicidal, very high on alcoholism. What further destroys them is the numerous amounts of missing indigenous women, missing and found murdered. That's an issue on the reservation right now. And nobody talks about it. These are God's chosen people. And you're going to sit down tomorrow for a holiday to fill your belly with food? I pray that food shoots out of your behind. I pray that food don't sit well in your belly.
Right.
Over a down plate. You're pledging allegiance to a country that ain't never loved you. And that just shows you how much a slave you are, because you're willing to overlook injustices, genocide, and colonialism just for a plate of food. We all grew up celebrating these holidays. None of us is exempt from, eating turkey, eating, stuffing. We've all done it at one point in time. So it's not like it's a strange thing to us. It's not something that we're unfamiliar with. We know exactly I can taste the turkey right now. I know exactly what it tastes like. I know exactly what it feels like to eat and stuff your belly and be full and have nothing to do afterwards but go to sleep.
Right.
But I would rather serve the Lord and not celebrate a holiday like this in defense of my brothers than to fill my belly.
Right.
A few months ago, we just had the Day of Atonement. Well, we went without eating for 24 hours. You mean to tell me you can't bypass that plate? You can't. It's going to be stuff open. It's going to be food places open. The crazy thing is that even on these days, the lines at them fast food restaurants still be full. Some people just be, they just big bag. They just want something else. Or they just don't got a taste for what people are serving, at Thanksgiving dinner. But it's a plate of food. And what you're showing the Lord is you have allegiance to America. If you could, give me the way of the heathen.
Come on, God.
A lot of y'all, it's going to be a lot of y'all, you're pro-black, you're pan-African, you're FBA, you're delineating, you're Native Indian. A lot of y'all Negroes is going to be celebrating Thanksgiving. You're going to be eating a Thanksgiving plate tomorrow. You don't have a backbone. How can you say white supremacy this, white supremacy that, but then sit down and eat a meal that celebrates the colonialism and the triumph of white supremacy over the Native American Indians?
Right.
You're a hypocrite and you can't be trusted because you'll sell yourself out for some food. Isn't that what Negroes do on them shows where they get them up in the interrogation room and they buy them a hamburger and they just get to telling on their people? They get to telling on their bros, they day ones. They get to the mouth just get to rolling. Go ahead, Ibot.
It's crazy because he'll be at the Thanksgiving dinner, picking up the turkey. The white man is so evil in what he do. You know what I'm saying? All he coming and conquer as he got the plate in his hand.
Right.
Preach to the family and they gonna be looking at him like,
yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. You low key, you Pan-African. You would you say?
That's a skit.
Yeah, that is a skit. You're a blackity black man. Power to the people. You over there cutting the turkey, talking about, yeah, the white man, you know, he did this and this. That's why I can't stand them devils. Why you cutting the turkey? Don't nobody want to hear that. Can't nobody believe you. Don't nobody believe what you say. I wish we could have, I wish we, I could be a fly in the room of all of these pro-black Negroes, all of these Prince of Power Pan-African niggas, and be in a room where they enjoying some things, a Thanksgiving meal. Like, you can't be trusted. That goes for all the holidays. You can't complain about white supremacy when you are celebrating something that's rooted in white supremacy. This not even our culture. It's not our people's holiday. It's their holiday.
Right.
As a black person, your people was in slavery, when this stuff started kicking off. Yeah, our ancestors celebrated, because that was a day off. What else you gonna do? Sit up in a slave shack looking at the wall looking dumb? No, you're gonna come out and hear all the music, and you can have some alcohol, and the master got some ham, and some turkey. Of course you're gonna dive in. You're a slave, but you're not a slave anymore. Go ahead, Art.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
That's the point. Learn not the way of the heathen.
Right.
Learn not the way of other people. First of all, you need to learn the ways of your people.
That's
You need to learn not the ways of other people and relearn, re-educate yourself on the ways of your people. Of you. You are God's chosen people. I can't act like I'm cool with a Native American Indian and I celebrated Thanksgiving. I can't look them in the face. I can't. I wouldn't be able to. It's a slap in the face. It's like a Mexican man or a Native Indian man celebrating a celebration that is about the triumph of black people being enslaved and conquered.
right.
That's what it would be. So at least you could put yourself in the shoes of your brothers and say, you know what? I don't need it.
Right.
I'm not going to die. I can, eat something else. I could have turkey any day. If I really want turkey. No, it's just about your lust of eating. That's all it is. That's really what it boils down to. But we got to be stronger than our lust of eating and drinking and smoking, because that's part of it too. A lot of y'all gonna be getting high too. You're gonna be seeing that cousin you haven't seen. You can miss me with that. It brings my family together, because your family is not together. There's going to be a child molester sitting across the table from a molested child that doesn't want to be there, but she's forced to be there because she has to be there, because this is a so-called Thanksgiving family dinner. You're going to have family that are straight enemies in the same house that don't get along and don't talk to each other. This is the same family that you say, I'll do Thanksgiving for my family. None of your family gets along. You don't get along with your father. You don't get along with your mother. You hate your sister. Your cousin took your man. Your uncle molested you. None of your family gets along. Right. They're broken and destroyed. And that's why you can come together for Thanksgiving on the celebration of your brothers who are broken and destroyed, the North American Indians, because you are a fucking slave.
Right.
What we got?
Jeremiah 10:2.
Let me hear it.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed.
We can drop that. We got that. I'm going to play a video. This is the boarding schools, okay?
More Indian talk, and then she pushed me.
Former students of indigenous boarding schools and their families are demanding that the U.S. government and religious leaders take responsibility for the abuse they endured.
I want them to tell the world what they did. That they have two faces. One face is evil.
Churches that once operated the schools are now confronted with their buried pasts. After Canada discovered hundreds of unmarked graves, families in the U.S. are still desperately searching for the remains of missing children.
He could be anywhere. Well, those stones.
We traveled to Oklahoma, the state that housed the largest number of these government-funded boarding schools and caused generational trauma for the hundreds of thousands forced to enroll.
They need to let everybody know what they did because it affected all of us.
Why did y'all do this? Why? And they lost their childhood, they lost their spirit, they lost their innocence. I just resigned myself to it, and I closed my eyes and I clutched my teeth and I put my hands out. She kept hitting me with the ruler until finally, I guess she got tired. Then she said, "No more Indian talk."
Augustina Willito was 6 years old when she was forced to attend a boarding school called Carter Seminary in.
This is about the Native American Indian, Indian boarding schools, where you had Catholic priests that were beating the children, molesting the children, just abusing these Native Indian children. Many times these children were taken from their families and put in these boarding schools. It has come out that they have found thousands of unmarked graves of these children. These children, these graves are nameless because these children, like what we talked about earlier, how the philosophy was to kill the man and save the Indian and kill the man. The philosophy was to basically turn you into a European. So they would cut the children's hair. They would write on a board names, and you as a child would just go up and pick your name on a board, give you an English name, and you were not allowed to speak your native tongue. What that elderly woman just said is that she would get whooped for speaking her native tongue, to the point where many of them totally forgot their native tongue because it was whipped out of them as children.
1948, the school no longer stands, but was run by the federal government when Augustina attended. As Augustina struggled to learn English, she says she was punished for speaking in her mother tongue Muskogee.
I felt it was my fault for breaking the rule. I just blame myself.
There were more than 350 government-funded church-run residential schools that Indigenous children were forced to enroll in. In recent decades, there have been allegations that physical and sexual abuse took place at these assimilation schools across the U.S. Augustina also recalls a fellow student facing consequences for walking outside of a single-file line and wonders to this day where she may be.
The matron came and she took her, seemed like she jerked her from back here somewhere and threw her. I never saw her after that.
Now, right here, she's talking about a friend that was thrown by one of the matrons, one of those nuns, and she never seen her again. She remembered her friend, but never seen her again. And her friend quite possibly was just unalive because they found so many unalive children in unmarked graves.
Right.
All right, let me just skim through here real quick.
That operated the schools have stayed silent for too long.
The church, the government, the mission schools, the Catholic Church, all of them need to be held responsible. An apology won't, be enough. People need to be prosecuted.
The large majority of boarding schools closed in the 1970s. Most school buildings were demolished, abandoned, or turned over to Indigenous tribes. But the lasting effect of
get right here.
Want to say to your brother who may be out somewhere here?
We'll find you eventually. He could be anywhere. Well, those stones.
Christine Eagle-Feeling has wondered for years where her baby brother lies. She frequently visits the cemetery at SHALAM Indian School where she suspects her brother may have been buried. With records missing, Christine doesn't know his cause of death and can only rely on information her mother passed on to her.
I wonder what name they gave him when they buried him.
The SHALAM Indian School operated under the Bureau of Indian Affairs and
Once again, this sister, her brother is buried there, and they're looking for her brother, but they don't know the name that he was given. They don't even know the cause of death. You understand? Let me go. It might be a little bit more I want to go into, and then we'll end it.
Can we ask a few questions why you are out here today? Or
Not on camera, no.
he later read a statement prepared by the abbot claiming no knowledge.
He didn't want to be on camera, this white priest. She asked him, why are you out here? Which is a valid question. Why are you even out here? He didn't want to be on. She said, can I ask you some questions? He said, not on camera.
A priest from the church came out to address the demonstrators.
can we ask a few questions why you are out here today? Or
Not on camera, no.
He later read a statement prepared by the abbot claiming no knowledge of unmarked graves.
We are unaware of any such unknown burial sites at the locations of our former missions. We are prepared to work with others to make sure proper honors have been given.
We followed up with the church's abbot, who says within.
He said they are unaware that of any of the unmarked graves at their church, right? That's just the reality of what happened to Native American Indians, and many of them are still alive today to tell the story.
Right.
He said they don't have any knowledge of that. And what you have to understand is that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
He has the audacity to show up while people are mourning and trying to come together to figure out what happened to their loved ones, and to say and deny any knowledge of what was going on. This is not the only place that this happened. This happened damn near at every boarding school that Native Indians went to. They were unalived and sexually molested and mentally abused. Okay. And once again, I just can't understand why you think in your mind that Thanksgiving means something different than what it has always meant.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we were out there, at camp. It was a lady that came up and she asked me about, why do we say the white man is the devil, and she don't think that is going to benefit anything by us talking about them that way. And I said, I have to say that the white man is the devil. When we look at the truth about what they have done, you have no option but to say he's the devil.
Right.
I don't understand how you can come to any other conclusion. If you could give me, I hate and despise your feast days.
Cool.
I don't know how you can come to any other conclusion that, it just doesn't, it just boggles me. I just don't get it. I watched something like what we just seen right there. That is so evil. And Native Indians ain't never treated white people the way white people have treated Native Indians.
Right.
Black people ain't never treated white people the way white people has treated black people.
Right.
Mexicans ain't never treated white people the way that white people treat Mexicans. And that is the reason why I can say with my full chest and with full knowledge of who we are and who they are, that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right. Go ahead.
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
And this is about your feast days. This is about the lust that we as a people have. We have a lust for pleasure. And one of those pleasures for a lot of us is eating and gobbling up as much as you can gobble up and stuff as much as you can stuff in your mouth, pause, and put and suck on as many blunts as you can suck on, pause, also. You know what I'm saying? We have a lust, for pleasure as God shows them people. We'll choose pleasure over righteousness. We'll choose pleasure over what we should do, what is right. We'll choose that before we'll choose to do what's right. We'll choose, a free Thanksgiving dinner. When the Lord, you ain't never went out with no food. Why? You don't need that Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
You don't need that Thanksgiving dinner. Ain't gonna make you or break you. But what you are showing me is the quality that you have when you sit down, especially in this day and age. I said, you know what? Because of what happened with SNAP, it's gonna be a lot of Thanksgiving turkey giveaways. Because they reinstated it right before Thanksgiving got here. That's the first thing people were saying when it happened. It was like, it's about to be the holidays. You're not even supposed to be celebrating the holidays. This is what the Lord thinks about your holidays. Go ahead, read it again.
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
I despise your feast days. Go ahead.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
The Lord don't care about the smell of that honey ham. I'm about to. Granny done did it big. Come on, everybody, hold hands. Hold hand. I'm finna dive in. Look, it smells good. What's that, Grandma? What you get? You smell them pies? This is a diabolical holiday that rests on the blood and bones of North American indigenous Indians. Right. The Lord don't give a damn about that holiday. He don't care. Matter of fact, the Lord ain't in it. He's not there. And that's why the day after Thanksgiving, you're going to hear about so many people that died.
Right.
Because he was never in it. You giving thanks for what? For eating? When you eat every day? Shouldn't a homeless, starving child give thanks for eating? Shouldn't somebody that don't eat every day give thanks for eating? You're giving thanks for eating a damn meal when you eat every day. You need to slow down on eating.
Right.
And you got the nerve to start thinking about you're being thankful. I seen something where it was talking about, at this time, you should help people out, like during Thanksgiving. Why is it that people have this mass delusion that you should only be charitable during the holidays?
Right.
Why are you not charitable every day? Why you don't care about the homeless every day? Why are you not thankful? Why are you not professing online, on Facebook, I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful for my family. Why are you not doing that every day? Why are you only doing it when Thanksgiving come around? Because it's not genuine.
Right.
You don't really mean it. You just want to show people that you like them. You're delusional like them. You believe in a fairy tale. You say, oh, I hear what you're saying, brother. I don't celebrate it for that. I celebrate it because it brings my family together. You're a child. You're pretending. You're imagining that it means something else when the history shows you that Thanksgiving comes from genocide.
Right.
I don't do it for that. Well, I don't give a damn what you do it for. This is what it means. This is what it came from.
Right.
You do it to bring your family together, but the foundation of the holiday is from them murdering the Native Indians and declaring a day of thanks.
Right.
Thanksgiving is just a day that is dressed up in a nice suit. The Thanksgiving is a murderer dressed up in a 3-piece suit in court, pleading his case. I didn't murder that man.
Right.
Your Honor, the defendant is in a 3-piece suit, looking sharp and clean. The image is perfect. The image of Thanksgiving is perfect, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for this. I'm so thankful for that. I have gratitude. I was thinking the other day, and I'm thankful for my mom. I was thinking the other day, I'm thankful for my kids. You know, I'm thankful we got food on the table. I'm thankful I'm not outside living in a cardboard box. You're thankful for anything because it's not genuine. Go ahead, Doc.
So like, it's Thanksgiving is a murderer dressed in a quarter zip.
Exactly. Thank you, Abba. Thanksgiving is a murderer dressed in a quarter zip. You know what Thanksgiving is? Thanksgiving, we need to do a skit. Thanksgiving, what's the Nike no, the not the Nike. Thanksgiving is a Pooh Shiesty mask with the hoodie dressed up in a quarter zip. You took the Pooh Thanksgiving did the killing in the quarter in the Pooh Shiesty mask. He did the murdering in that. Then he comes into court with the quarter zip and a maca. Like, Your Honor, I've never seen these people before. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't commit that crime. It's just a holiday of murder dressed up to look good. Right. You can't sit there and say, oh, I don't do it because of that. Nigga, that's what the foundation is. Right. Foundation didn't never change, but your delusion did. And your delusion is part of you wanting to follow America and not let go of the traditions of men that we were raised on. Right. We were raised on those traditions. We come into a world, we're born in a world of lies. We're born into a world where you got Christmas, where you got Easter, you got Halloween, you got all of these, all of them. Black and Hispanic people, we're born into a world full of lies and holidays and celebrations that have nothing to do with our people. Right. And you have to navigate and find the truth throughout all of that web of lies. Right. Okay. And in I.S.U.P.K, we have the truth. We do not celebrate the death and the genocide of our brothers and sisters. And we do not celebrate anything that has to do with people who are not us. That's right. The way of the heathen. We don't do it. Even though most of us, we're doing it in part of our life. We were celebrating birthdays part of our life. We was doing all of the holidays. But when we learned the truth, we understood differently and we let those things go. The Bible says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. Right. And holidays are childish things. You understand? They only serve your flesh and they do nothing, literally nothing for you as a person. That's right. All right. I got like a little bit more. I want to get into, just go over some of the history about $5 Indians. Okay. Let me drop this. And then we'll. $5 Indians. This advertisement says, Indian land for sale, get a home of your own, easy payments, a perfect title, possession within 30 days, fine lands in the West, irrigatable, grazing, agriculture, and dry farming. In 1910, the Department of Interior sold under sealed, what does it say? Sealed Biggs allotted Indian land as follows. Anyway, $5 Indian. You ever heard the term $5 Indian? $5 Indian was the United States government was selling the Indian land, right? And they developed a program which was to assimilate the Indians. They were going to give Indians the land, but you had requirements, like strict requirements, in order to get your plot of land from the government as a native Indian. Similar to the strict requirements that Black people or anybody has when you sign up for welfare. They also were giving land to all native Indians. So some of the land went to some of the children. The problem is a lot of those children ended up in boarding schools. So they never got the land. You know what I mean? So if they didn't meet those requirements, anybody could get the land, meaning the gates opened up for the white people, for white settlers to get the land. You had white people that paid $5 to corrupt government officials to put their name on the Dawes Rolls list, which gave them the land. So they would do an underhand, backhand thing, and they would get on this list. So today you have a lot of white people, families, descendants of white people that get benefits as though they're a Native American Indian, and they're not.
Right.
Here's a video. You've probably seen this before.
Settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here, okay?
But you're
a little different.
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
you
colonials.
You don't look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're
Whites
not.
are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was happening to?
He said whites are Native Americans. You have a lot of white people today that believe that they are Native Americans. And really what they are $5 Indians.
Right.
They have no Native Indian indigenous blood. They are Edomites from the Caucasus Mountains of Mount Seir. They are nowhere a Gadite from the tribe of Gad. But today, many of them believe that they are Native Indians. They're called $5 Indians, okay?
Right.
Now, like I said, the Lord is not in this holiday. The Lord is nowhere. Like you can say everything you're thankful for any time of the year. You can be thankful and it'll really be genuine. It'll really mean something then. Doesn't mean anything when it's standing on a bloody holiday. A holiday hell day is what Thanksgiving is.
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to end with this. So another one of the things that the lady asked me, she asked me about ICE agents. What do I think about black men and Hispanic men signing up as ICE agents? I think that they are traitors.
Right.
They're traitors to their people. Okay. Because they're signing up for that $50,000 bonus. I think it was $45 or $50,000 a year with a 50,000 sign-on bonus. And the ICE agents, there's no requirements to be an ICE agent. All right. You can see that with the way, people be running from them and getting away. They not in, half of them not even in shape. Right. But she was asking me something about, is there another way to wake black and brown people up and not just, point the finger at the white man? So the point I made is black and brown people haven't healed. We haven't healed as a people. And then you have a person, you're still living around the people that have wounded you. And then every time when you're starting to heal, they reopen the wound. I'm talking about white people. They reopen the wound and remind you, whether it's a racial slur, whether it's prejudice, bigotry, whatever they do, they reopen the wound. So we're at a point where we can't actually heal from our oppressor. Okay? Now give me Jeremiah 30:14. We're at a point where we cannot actually heal because every time we turn around, there has been something throughout the decades that white people have done racially to black and brown people. And we can't never forget. And that's what they said in that video, where this trauma of these Indian tribes is generational. Right. They're still feeling the pain of what happened to their family members that were just children, and they still have no answers. And they're still hurting. To this day, they're still hurting. And then you have a monster that will call you an illegal alien, try to tackle you as an elderly woman, an elderly man, and deport you to another country and treat you that way. You're opening up the wound. We can't heal because the oppressor ain't been put down.
Right.
He ain't been dealt with. He only knows how to gobble up more land, steal, lie, and oppress.
Right.
He don't know anything else. He doesn't know how to let things go so that people can heal. And that's why we can never close our mouth or speak soft or speak in a way that you want us to speak like with a Christian pastor and proclaiming who our people are and proclaiming who our oppressor is. We have to say it truthfully how the Lord wants us to say it. Go ahead, Abban.
So like Jeremiah 30 and 34.
30 and 14.
Okay. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one. For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity.
So the problem that we have, number one, is that we don't know who we are as a people. And the only way to cure that, the problems that you see in the Hispanic community, the problems you see in the Black community, is for us to relearn who we are in this place and what is our stance in this place, what is supposed to be in this world.
Right.
We have to learn that first. Secondly, the wound that we've been hit with from our oppressor because of our iniquities, that wound is an incurable wound unless we come back to the only cure. The only cure is the Holy One of Israel. The only cure is learning who we are and keeping the law, statute, commandments to fix us and we start to love one another. That is the only cure. There is no other cure. There's no money. There's no, no place you can move to. There's no place you could go that could cure that curse, that wound for us to heal. You understand? Okay. And so when we go on the streets, we have to speak the truth because the truth of the scriptures is what is going to cure us. And we have to say the white man is the devil.
That's
break them chains off of your brain. When you thinking he benevolent and that he is somehow, better than you. You are better than him.
Right.
You are more holier than him. You are more spiritual than him. The Lord chose you over him.
That's right.
And so we're dealing with a people, we have to say it because, as you can see, as what I just showed you, Native Indians are a broken people. And we have to lift their head up.
That's right.
Black people are a broken people. And we have to lift their head up. We have to remind them who you are on this earth. You are the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
That's right.
Stand up, be strong, and fight for your heritage. With that's the class. All right. All right, Israel. The water will be in class. We'll be back next Wednesday. Give brothers and sisters shout us out in the chat. Sister Kapa, Sister Asa, Sister Baratanawa, Leonard Jr., Shalat, Oscar Ward, Sister Tamika, Lahab, Kalmaz Baf. Yeah, and that looks like that's it. All right, Israel, we up out of here with that. Shalom, Israel. Clap it up.